I hike alone when I need quiet, not peace, just silence. Montana gives you that kind of silence, the kind that presses back. I parked my truck at a small, unmarked turnout just before dusk. No signage, no ranger post, just a rusted metal gate half buried in weeds and a trailhead that wasn't listed on any official park map. That should have been my first warning, but I told myself the same lie I always do. Locals know things tourists don't. The trail was narrow, but well-worn. Boot prints and dry soil, broken twigs snapped clean, not old rot. Someone used this path regularly. Recently, after about 40 minutes of hiking, I smelled smoke, cold smoke, old campfire. I followed it off trail and found the campsite. It looked abandoned, but not decayed. A single tent frame still stood, fabric torn away like it had been peeled. A fire ring sat cold and clean, stones arranged carefully. No trash, no gear, just one thing out of place, a map, pinned to a tree with a hunting knife. It wasn't printed, it wasn't laminated, it was hand-drawn, sketched in black ink on thick yellowed paper. Trails, contour lines, elevation marks, all drawn with obsessive precision. Whoever made it knew cartography. Distances were measured, bearings labeled, and every trail marked matched my GPS. Every trail except one. A narrow path drawn in darker ink branched off near the campsite and curved deep into the forest. No trail marker, no name, no record on my GPS or phone, just a single handwritten word beside it. Stay on it. I pulled the knife free and took the map. I told myself it was curiosity. That's another lie I tell often. I camped a mile away, closer to a stream, where the trees opened just enough for moonlight to spill through. I pitched my tent fast, ate cold food, and checked my GPS again. No unmarked trails, no mystery path. At 11:48 p.m., I unfolded the map again. The ink looked wetter, not smeared, not bleeding, fresh. The mystery trail had shifted. It was closer to where I'd set up camp. I laughed, actually laughed, because the alternative didn't make sense. Paper doesn't redraw itself. Forests don't move. At 12:31 a.m., I checked again. Another trail had appeared, shorter, thinner, pointing toward my location. At 1:12 a.m., my GPS buzzed. Movement detected. I was asleep. At least I thought I was. The GPS alert wouldn't stop vibrating. Short, sharp pulses against my thigh, like a heartbeat that didn't belong to me. I sat up inside the tent and checked the screen. 01:13 a.m. Status: active. Movement: recorded. A thin blue line marked a path starting at my campsite, looping into the trees, then returning. Distance: 0.42 miles. I stared at it until my eyes burned. My boots were still beside the tent, laced, dry. My feet were bare. I told myself it was a glitch. Cheap satellites, bad signal under heavy canopy, Montana wilderness messing with tech the way it always does. That excuse lasted exactly 30 seconds because the map crinkled beside me. I hadn't touched it. I slowly reached for my headlamp and flicked it on. The paper had changed. Not just the trails. There were footstep symbols now. Small, evenly spaced marks along the newly drawn paths. Someone had sketched pace length, direction, even pauses. They weren't random. They matched the GPS route perfectly, including where the line stopped for 90 seconds near a stand of trees and then resumed. I hadn't stopped anywhere. I checked the timestamps. The pause happened at 12:59 a.m. I remembered something then, a dream, or what I thought was one, standing between trees that leaned inward like ribs, listening to breathing that wasn't behind me or ahead of me, but around me. I hadn't seen anyone, but I remembered knowing I wasn't alone. A sudden crack echoed from the forest. Not an animal, too deliberate. Wood snapped, slow pressure, not impact. I killed the headlamp. The dark pressed in instantly, thicker than it should have been. The moonlight was gone, swallowed by clouds that hadn't been there before. Then came the sound, footsteps, bare feet on dirt, not rushing, not hiding, walking with purpose. They didn't circle the tent, they stopped, right outside. I held my breath. The footsteps multiplied, 2, 3, 4.
They didn't move, they just stood there. I risked a glance through the tent mesh. Shapes blocked the starlight, human outlines wrongly still, like mannequins set upright and forgotten. No faces, no detail, just darker patches of dark. My GPS buzzed again. Another trail was being recorded. This one didn't leave the campsite. It circled the tent, slowly, deliberately. At 2:04 a.m., all movement stopped at once. No footsteps, no breathing, no sound at all. The silence was worse. When I checked the map again, there was a new note written along the edge of the paper. Different handwriting, more rushed. Don't camp where they can finish the path. I didn't sleep again. When dawn finally broke, the forest looked normal, peaceful, harmless. But the ground told a different story. Boot prints surrounded my tent, perfect circles, all facing inward. None of them were mine. I stood in the center of those footprints for a long time, not moving, not thinking, just letting the facts settle in. They weren't random, they weren't messy. Whoever or whatever had stood outside my tent had placed their feet carefully, toed inward, balanced, patient, like they were waiting for something specific to happen, like they were waiting for me to finish something. I packed fast, not efficiently, urgently. I shoved gear into my pack without folding, didn't even clean the fire ring, didn't even eat. Every instinct told me to leave the area immediately. But before I could shoulder my pack, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. My boots. They weren't beside the tent anymore. They were 10 feet away, standing upright, side by side, pointing toward the trees. I didn't touch them. I slid my feet into them where they stood, laced them with shaking hands, and forced myself not to look deeper into the forest. That's when I saw the abandoned campsite again. I hadn't gone back, but it was closer now. The same tree, the same knife scar in the bark, only the map was gone. I checked my GPS.
The distance between campsites had changed. What had been a mile yesterday now read 0.18 miles. Trails don't shrink, forests don't compress. I walked backward until my heel hit a root and nearly sent me down. When I looked again, the campsite was farther away, back where it belonged. I understood then. It wasn't the forest moving, it was waiting for me to move wrong. I started hiking toward my truck. The official trail felt thinner than it had the day before. Trees leaned closer, branches hanging lower. My GPS kept recalculating, insisting I was off route, even though I was walking exactly where I'd come from. At one point, it showed 3 versions of me on the screen, 3 blue dots, each one moving along a slightly different trail. I stopped. 2 dots kept walking. They didn't stop until they disappeared into areas my GPS labeled only as undefined. The air changed again around noon. That leather smell returned, stronger now. I heard footsteps ahead of me, not behind, ahead. I rounded a bend and froze. The map was pinned to another tree. Same paper, same ink, but now it was larger, expanded. New trails had been added, dense, layered, overlapping so tightly they almost blackened the page. At the center of all of them was a symbol, a rough circle, and inside it, a tent icon, mine. A note was written beneath it, pressed hard enough to tear the paper. You walk well. I didn't rip it down this time. I ran. The forest answered. Branches snapped in rhythm with my steps. The ground softened, pulling at my boots. Trails I hadn't seen before opened in front of me, too straight, too clean, inviting. I stayed off them. That's when I heard my own voice calling my name from the left, then again from the right. Perfect copies, same tone, same breath. I screamed back, raw, panicked, just to prove I was real. The silence stopped instantly. The silence that followed felt disappointed. By the time I reached my truck, the sun was already dipping low. I didn't remember it being that late. I didn't remember walking that far. I got in, locked the doors, and checked my GPS one last time. The trail history was still there. Every step I'd taken while asleep, every loop, every pause. And one final route I didn't recognize at all. It started at my campsite and ended at my truck. Timestamp 6:41 p.m. I was still standing outside at 6:41. Whatever finished that path wasn't me. I didn't check my mirrors when I pulled onto the highway. I kept my eyes forward, hands locked at 10 and 2, breathing shallow, like I was afraid the forest might hear me through the open window. The GPS recalculated once, then again, then it stopped giving directions entirely, just a blue dot, me, floating on a blank screen. No roads, no terrain, no Montana. I drove for nearly an hour before I saw another car. When headlights finally passed me going the opposite direction, I felt something loosen in my chest, proof the world still existed beyond trees and dirt and ink. I pulled into the first gas station I saw. Lights, cameras, people. I didn't turn the engine off. I just sat there shaking until a man at the next pump looked at me like I was either drunk or dangerous. Inside the store, I checked my phone. No signal issues, no corrupted data. The GPS history was still there, and it had updated. The final route, the one that ended at my truck, now had a label. Not a system label, handwritten, completed. I deleted the app, right there in the gas station bathroom with my hands still streaked in dirt I couldn't wash off. I wiped the GPS app from my phone like it was infected. For a few seconds, I felt stupidly relieved. Then I noticed the marks on my arms, thin scratches, parallel, too evenly spaced to be branches. They ran from my wrists up to my elbows, faint but fresh, like someone had held me down gently and dragged something across my skin. I drove home that night, didn't stop, didn't sleep. When I finally pulled into my driveway just before dawn, I stayed in the truck for a long time, listening to the engine tick as it cooled. I told myself it was over, that the forest had rules and I'd escaped by breaking them. That belief lasted exactly 3 days. On the fourth night, I woke up standing in my living room, barefoot, the front door wide open, mud on the carpet. My phone lay on the kitchen table, unlocked. The GPS app was back. I don't remember reinstalling it. I don't remember walking outside, but the trail history was there, a new one, starting at my bed, moving through my house, out the door, stopping at the edge of my yard. I didn't go back to sleep. I didn't leave my house the next day either. That night, I heard footsteps on the sidewalk outside, slow, measured, stopping directly in front of my door. I checked the window, no one there, but something was pinned to the oak tree in my yard. A piece of paper, yellowed, hand-drawn. I didn't need to go closer to know what it was. I already knew what it would show, because my phone buzzed in my hand. A notification, new path detected. This time, it didn't come from the forest. It came from me. I live in town now, surrounded by people, noise, light. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I wake up tired, like I've been walking all night. Sometimes my shoes aren't where I left them. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I see trails forming behind my eyelids, neat and deliberate, branching outward from wherever I happen to be standing. I don't hike anymore. I don't camp. I don't go off-road. But every few weeks, I'll catch someone staring at me a little too long, watching, like they're waiting for me to finish something. And when I pass them, I swear I can smell leather, old, damp, like gloves left in the rain. If you ever find a hand-drawn map nailed to a tree, don't take it, don't study it, and whatever you do, don't check where the paths are pointing, because the moment you do, the trail has already started.
I've told myself for months that what happened was coincidence, that fear filled in the blanks, that the forest was just a forest. But if that were true, then someone explain why I still check my car tires every night before bed. This happened last October, when my girlfriend Mara and I decided to camp in a national forest neither of us had ever visited before. The road disappeared long before the GPS did. At first, it was just pavement turning to cracked asphalt, then gravel, then dirt. No sign, no mile markers, just trees pressing in closer the deeper we drove. Mara joked that if we broke down, no one would find us. Neither of us laughed. The first thing we noticed when we stepped out of the car was the silence. No birds, no insects, no distant traffic, just the sound of our own breathing and the soft ticking of the engine cooling down. Forests aren't supposed to sound empty. The campsite looked maintained, but unused. Fire ring clean, picnic table untouched, no footprints anywhere, not even old one. It felt less like a place people left and more like a place no one ever stayed. As we set up the tent, I kept getting the feeling we were being watched, not in a dramatic way, in the subtle way where your body reacts before your mind does. Every time I turned around, there was nothing, but the feeling didn't go away. As the sun dropped behind the trees, the forest darkened unnaturally fast. The tree line didn't fade, it closed like a door. That's when headlights appeared. An old SUV rolled into the clearing, slow, careful, intentional. The engine stayed running for a few seconds too long. Then the driver stepped out. He was average in every way. Mid-30s, neutral clothes, no visible gear, but his eyes, they didn't wander. They locked onto us immediately and stayed there. He said he was camping nearby. When I asked where, he gestured vaguely toward the trees. No real spot, he said. I like being alone. Then he sat down. For someone who wanted solitude, he talked constantly, asked how long we were staying, asked if we'd camped here before, asked if we'd heard anything strange yet. That last question hung in the air. At one point, he stopped mid-sentence, stared directly at Mara, not in a creepy way, in a focused way, like he was waiting for her to do something. I shifted in front of her. He blinked, smiled, and apologized, but the moment didn't pass. Before leaving, he said, "Sometimes people hear voices out here." Then he added casually, "They usually stop if you check," and walked back to his SUV. The forest swallowed the sound of his engine almost instantly. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. We sat by the fire longer than planned. Neither of us wanted to be the first to suggest going to bed. Eventually, exhaustion won. I woke up to Mara gripping my arm. "There are people outside," she whispered. At first, I thought she meant animals. Then I listened, low murmuring, multiple voices. Not close, but not far. Human. I grabbed the flashlight and stepped outside. The voices stopped instantly. The forest stood frozen. Not even leaves moved. Back in the tent, the whispers returned. Each time we checked, silence. Each time we lay down, voices. Morning came too slowly. When daylight finally broke through the trees, I felt relief for the first time all night. Then I walked to the car. A napkin was tucked under the windshield wiper, folded neatly. 3 words written in black ink: "You should leave." On the back, barely visible, "Danger here." No footprints, no sign anyone approached the car, yet someone had been close enough to leave a message, carefully. We debated leaving immediately, but daylight made everything feel less threatening. We convinced ourselves the stranger was messing with us. That was our mistake. He showed up again around noon. This time, he looked relieved to see us. When I showed him the note, his face changed. He claimed camps emptied overnight, that signs appeared before people vanished. "That note means they noticed you," he said. "You need to leave before dark." When I asked who they were, he shook his head. "You don't want names," he said. That evening, as we started packing, Mara screamed. Mara's scream cut through the clearing so sharply it made my chest tighten. I ran around the back of the car, already knowing something was wrong before I even saw it. The rear tire wasn't just flat, it was cut. The slash was clean, deliberate, long, not a blowout, not wear and tear. Someone had taken a blade and pressed it in with intention, hard, slow.
We didn't argue after that. No more debating, no more rationalizing. Whatever was happening, it wasn't coincidence anymore. We scanned the tree line. The stranger's SUV was gone. No engine noise, no tracks we could see. It was like he'd been erased. My hands shook as I changed the tire, not from fear, from urgency. Every second felt borrowed, like we were already late to something we didn't understand. The sun dipped fast, too fast. The forest darkened in layers, swallowing color until everything turned the same shade of gray-green, the kind of light where depth perception lies to you. We packed the rest of our gear hastily, leaving things behind we'd normally never abandon. Chairs, food, a sleeping bag, none of it mattered. As we pulled out of the clearing, I had the overwhelming sense that we were being watched again, not from one direction, from everywhere. The road looked different in the dark, narrower, longer, wrong. The trees leaned in just enough to make the sky feel smaller. Mara was the first to say it. "Do you see that?" I slowed. At the edge of the headlights, something stood just beyond the tree line. It wasn't hiding, it wasn't moving. Tall, human-shaped, completely black, like the absence of light itself. Then another appeared, then another, spacing themselves evenly along the road, like markers. They didn't step forward, they didn't react to the car. They were already facing us. As we passed the first one, I turned my head. There were no features, no eyes, no mouth, just shape. Every instinct in my body told me to stop looking, so I did, and that scared me more than if they chased us. In the mirror, I saw them move, not walk, not run. They shifted all at once. Mara started crying silently, not sobbing, just tears streaming while she stared straight ahead. "I don't think they're people," she said. The car struggled. The spare tire rattled. For a terrifying moment, I thought we'd stall. I pressed harder. Over the sound of the engine, I heard it, whispering. Inside the car, not new voices, the same ones from the tent. Calm, patient. This time we could understand them. "You were supposed to stay." Suddenly, the forest thinned, the road widened, and just like that, the shadows were gone. Street lights appeared. Phone signal returned. The radio clicked back on mid-song. It felt wrong, too abrupt. Neither of us spoke for miles. Not because we didn't know what to say, but because we both felt the same thing. We left something behind. At the ranger station the next morning, we told everything. The man behind the desk didn't interrupt, didn't take notes, just listened. When we mentioned the shadows, his expression changed. Not shock, recognition. He thanked us, said he'd look into it. We never heard back. Back home, I searched online. No missing person reports, no incidents, no warnings. It was like that place didn't exist digitally. Weeks passed, then months, but I still checked my tires, still woke up at 3 a.m., still listened for whispers. Sometimes I think about the stranger, whether he was part of it, or trapped by it, or spared by it. The worst part isn't fear, it's guilt, because someone left that note for us, and whatever stayed behind didn't get one. If you ever find a note on your car that tells you to leave, don't argue, don't investigate, just go, because next time there won't be a note.